Hi, I'm I can't see what's going on, so yeah, it took me a while to figure it out. Hi, good evening. It's evening. Yeah, I make my videos in the evening because I really function a lot better in the afternoons. I'm not a morning person, and it takes me really long time to get me going. So I really function a lot better. Like I have everything I needed to do, every serious mental work I always needed to do, I did in the evening. So that's why I make my videos. I feel better when I make them in the evening. Um, yeah, I made the last video in Serbian. Um, it wasn't really about transparency, but it sort of was called like that. It was more about divine power. And I made it after um, I was supposed to have a talk, a morning talk, an interview on light language and what the light language is. And because I already made a similar video on my channel, I wasn't really talking about that. I'm not going to be talking about that now. So I suspect this is going to be really random because energies have been changing daily, not even daily, like within hourly. So yeah. Um, I've been thinking a lot lately about certain things that are, yeah, that are not so, we tend to avoid and we tend not to talk about them and not to notice them, but it's really essential once you start working on yourself, and especially if you work with other people, it's really essential to think about it, if not discuss it. So yeah, what that interview actually did not happen because uh, something was changed on YouTube channel, so she could use the same technology she was using, and then something was changed on Facebook, so I couldn't really uh, go on live with her. She could only talk, so we kind of postponed it, and then I made this video as in response to that. And my thoughts at that moment were regarding that, because I was thinking about how much we are actually free in our lives, and how much are we the ones who are creating our own lives from our own heart space and our own thoughts that come from there, and how much are we influenced with just about everything around us. So yeah, I was trying to, for instance, to make a notice on my Facebook page about that, to inform people of what happened. But and then because the internet was bugging and my phone was bugging, my phone is bugging for about 2 weeks or if not more, and internet also. And then I was spending, like, I was trying to make this little post for hours, and that also got me thinking how much we're really slaving away to something that's supposed to be in service to us. Those things that we have created to make communication easier, uh, to enhance our lives, becoming something else, became something else, and they're actually hindering our lives and making it more difficult than actually making it easier, which was the general idea. It's like we have electricity in the house, and once we don't have it anymore, we just understand how much we are dependent on it. And we tend, I mean, for all those things that are supposed to be um, making our lives easier, we tend to pay a whole great amount of money and become dependent on it. And somebody else is like standing behind it and making all this income from something that we actually, I mean, it's not that we don't need it, we need it, but it was created to make our lives easier, and it can go in a very different direction, and it should have gone in a very different direction, because the first idea that it was created in the first place was not that. It just became something that it's stealing our time, stealing our energy, stealing our finances, and it's not functioning anymore. It's not serving us, and we are not there to serve those things. We created it. It's our, I mean, somebody else, it came through somebody else, but it's a collective creation. So we created it to make our lives easier. The electricity is making our lives easier, but we lived before it. And we also communicated with people before Facebook and all other social apps that are actually, we started slaving away to it. And how much are we actually slaves to the modern society and the modern technology that is actually supposed to be making our lives easier? That's why it is here. And it's something that is supposed to be there for general use and general disposal, because it's of service to us. We are not of service to it and somebody who's standing behind all the idea of using it for whatever purposes and whatever profits that they think they are. I mean, the energies that are happening around us are energies that we are making. Our collective energies are supposed to be dismantling all this, and this is why we have so many difficulties lately in these areas. Because, I mean, what's wrong with making a phone call? What's wrong with writing a letter? We forgot how to do that. I mean, why would I spend hours and hours to just send the simple information to the broader amount of audience that's, I don't know, I just want to send a message to somebody, and it's maybe supposed to be only for somebody's eyes only, and then a whole lot of people is going to be involved in that, because we're slaving away to the social medias. And yeah, just think about it. I mean, these are the thoughts that were running through my head at that moment. And this is how we created our lives around it, because we created our businesses around it. And when those things are gone, taken away, or just somebody cuts them off or changes something, we're all panicky because we don't know how to, we have to create other things. And these are all distractions from something that we really should be thinking about. And it's our own inner selves. We should be connecting to ourselves, and not be dependent on those things to sustain our lives, because we are sustaining ourselves. We have done this before, and we've done this before all this existed. And yeah, the information got around. I mean, it's the information is in the light transmissions, and not, yeah, it's becoming visual. But this is why this got connected to my talk about light language, because this is an information. The light language is coming from the source. It's light. I mean, light is light. It doesn't have a shape, but in order for us to connect with it becomes visual. And in certain dimensions and densities, it has different expressions. And in its form, on a higher plane, it has an expression of symbols. And those symbols can be geometrical shapes and symbols, like visuals, which we can see as geometry or mandalas, but they can also be in the shape of symbols that some of my clients, they say it's runes, and they say it's Sanskrit, or some of my clients have seen it in sessions. But I've been seeing it since I was in my early 20s in my dreams, and I've been reading from it in a foreign language that I couldn't speak before, but I started speaking it like a year ago. that you hear me say, but I'm saying that it's symbols because I'm basically in my dreams I first saw it as inscriptions, as letters of a foreign language, and these languages star languages. And when I first started hearing them, when I not in my dreams, yeah, but in reality too. And when I started hearing it, I heard different languages, and I didn't hear only the one that you hear coming from me. I heard different languages, and especially in dreams, when I would sense other beings there, and they would speak in some languages that I don't understand. I don't know where they come from, and I doesn't mean that I understand this one either. But what I'm saying now is that I mean, my soul doesn't understand it, but those ones are from this different star systems, if so. But the ones that I've been seeing is what I've been told and how I understand it is that this language is generally accepted. It's intergalactic star language that everybody understands. And I have listened to several people who spoke about it, who sound similar, and they say that it's an Andromedan language in the Andromedan galaxy. I don't know. Like I said, how I feel it is the language of my soul. And is it different for everybody? And I mean, everybody puts in their own vibration. So I suspect that it sounds different. So yeah, but I first started seeing fiery letters. Like I received in 2010 my name in fiery symbol, and it was a word that I couldn't pronounce, and I mean, I know now what it means, but I can't pronounce it. I still don't know how is it pronounced. I don't know the sound of it, and I guess that would be the sound, the song of my soul when once I'm able to pronounce it. And I've been told it's not the time. I've tried in some sessions, but I've been told it's not the time yet. So how I started speaking it is after, I first started hearing it after a certain hypnotherapy session, and that's really difficult. I mean, I don't really recommend it because yeah, it's hard on the brain, and you need to clear up a lot because it really instigates a lot of clearing. Uh, because it goes directly to your subconscious and to your DNA. So it's sort of connected to the star galactic origins, and which is written in your DNA. And it from what I've understood in me, it activates it. So I got a whole lot of activations that instigated a whole lot of clearing. So when I actually started speaking it was random, and I had to speak it around the house, and I was speaking it in dreams, and I would wake up like speaking it. And I mean, I was sick, I had a sore throat, I had a cold. I mean, that was connected to it because it happened like straight after, because it had to clear me. It was clearing me. I had to clear a lot to be able to download, because it's a download um, from my higher wisdom, from my mentors, from the council of elders, as much as I could understand. And when I do let it through me, as much as you've seen so far, it only really lasts for a short period of time, because this is as much as I can handle it. So I haven't really started working properly with it, because I'm still learning how to work with it. I'm still learning how to work with that energy, how to handle that energy. And you might have noticed that it moves me. It really goes through me. I feel the energy going through me, and it's something that, yeah, something happens, and I really have to be letting it through to the best of my abilities, because I'm a conduit for it. And yeah, that brings out a lot of me, and it goes straight. And so I have to clear as much as I can in me, so that it it does go through my own programming, and but to the best of my abilities, I have to be clear conduit for it as much as I can, so that you can receive what you should receive from it. And nothing of mine won't be attached to it. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like you have this prism of crystal, and then the light is going through it, and the brighter the crystal, the better shape of it, the clearer it is, the more transparent it is, you will receive it better. You will receive more from it. So you receive more light, you see more light, it lets through more light shine through it. So yeah, that's why I mean, like when I was 20, I was not speaking. I spoke in my dreams, but I did not understand. I mean, I was reading it from a scroll that something was written in there, and then I was reading it out loud for myself, because there was nobody else. It was just me. I was reading it there, and I didn't understand what I would read. I would write in it. I would write on the scroll, and then I would read out loud, and I would write in this language. And then it was not in fire. Then it was just ink and scroll. But it was these symbols, and those symbols you will not find anywhere, because those symbols are not visuals. You can hear people speaking to it, but they're only, you can receive them as a download directly from your guidance, from your mentors, if it's meant for you. And if not, it's better that you don't, because it's gonna, it can be a bit messy. So yeah, I was not really researching it, but the light language was attracting me, so that's why I started it. And that's why I talked about, that's why I connected it to all of this previously, what I talked about. Because you see, it kind of instigated a lot of, a lot of clearing in all of us who were supposed to be participating in this conversation, because, yeah, how transparent are we really? How transparent are we in our relationships? How transparent are we with ourselves in the first place? How transparent are we in our personal relationships, with our partners, in love relationships, in romantic relationships? How personal are we in sharing about what our real agendas are and intentions? And how much do we really know how to communicate and function with people who actually do function with us in this way? How much are we transparent in everything we do, in our jobs, in our lives? How do we really express that? What instigated these thoughts is also like I had a session with a client recently, and most of my clients lately that have been coming, it's not a big number of them, but lately most of them are coming from the same dimension, and not all of them know this, but when they come, I know. I sense it. So the one who came for the second session with me, she was telling me about this dimension, a parallel dimension that she goes to, and when she sleeps. And the first thing she did when we went into hypnosis state, she went on her guide took her in Antarctica, but the Antarctica was green area, and in this green area she saw a spaceship on a lake, and she went to the spaceship, and they told her that it is Antarctica, it is Earth, but it's parallel dimension, it's a parallel reality, so it looks different. It's not like we know the Antarctica we know. And for me, that kind of I had a feeling that this is inner Earth, where she was in the earth realm. But I don't think she's ready for something like that. So yeah, we didn't really explore it and receive those information. But basically, she was she spent a lot of time on a ship, and she belongs to this group, to this alien group uh, that is kind of responsible for balancing the energies in Earth and keeping up balance of the energies. We don't really know how, because she couldn't receive information on that. We couldn't explore that. But her job there was to follow the coordinates and direct the spaceship to do certain places, certain areas on Earth that are energy vortexes, power spots on Earth. And what were they doing there? Uh, we don't know. She just said that they were measuring the state of Earth, the energy state of Earth at that moment. And yeah, I also go a lot. I spend a lot of time on a ship in my dreams, but I just don't remember it like that, and my brain just sort of allows as much as information allows it, and through its own filters. So I remember it through what is familiar to me, and this is what happens to her in her dreams too. So yeah, she only became aware of it in a session, because we sort of her mental mind allowed this information into her consciousness at that state, and because she needs to function in the 3D reality here, her mental mind, when no, what's the word I'm looking for in English? Interprets these information that she brings back from her dream in through the filters, and allows into her consciousness just a little bit, which is basically in her case nothing. But she has the energy. She has the energy that she brings from there, and she had certain hints on this. That's why she came. And yeah, this is sort of our parallel, our higher selves that we belong to, like this group who's very active at the moment. And it's not the only group, but we sort of belong to the same realm, to the same group. We come from the same from the same space, not spaceship, but from the same alien land or area, star, galaxy actually. So after that, the ship took her there, and she was there in a translucent and transparent world from crystal, and everything was like made from crystal, and everything was transparent there. People were communicating, beings were communicating telepathically, and everything is transparent because everybody knows everything about the others. So there are no conflicts and heaviness, and you don't know how to resolve something, because you're transparent, and the other person, if you have a change of heart, or if your path is taking you differently, already knows this, because you're transparent, and they are transparent, and you know this about them. So that, I mean, that session, her second session, actually kind of took off from where we actually stopped in the last one, because her guide, on the end of everything that we've done, I've asked, is there anything that her guide wants to show her, and he took her there, and he showed her just briefly this world. And when we asked what is he showing her and why, he just said he just needed her to see this. And like you see from there, something was going on, and then this was a continuation, and she was ready for more now. And this is sort of an encouragement for people who are coming from the same world, who are having similar dreams, or who maybe had a session with me or somebody else to maybe, understand that they're now ready for more. And yeah, I love these kind of sessions, and please do come with something like that, because I want more. I want to know more. Uh, we all want to know more. So yeah, this also got me thinking about transparency that I was talking about, because how can we even have this here, because we created such a reality, we collectively created such a reality that in which is actually hard to be transparent, and even when you want to, you're having a hard time because everybody else is not. And I mean, how can you? You're having a hard time being transparent with yourself too, because you're having difficulties in accepting that you maybe want something else other than what your cultural system and society and everybody else or your family is projecting onto you. And everybody is constantly projecting something onto you. I'm being projecting onto all the time, especially even before I was doing this, but especially now. And I've been feeling a bit trapped myself too in this realm of heaviness, and the, the world that is not transparent and it's not supporting the openness and honesty. And yeah, with everybody else's projections and wishes and desires and intentions, and especially when you become a little bit more lighter and a little bit more transparent, you also become a bit more sensitive to that. So you feel other people, they don't even have to tell you. Like, in this transparent world, everything is transparent because beings communicate telepathically. So you feel them and you feel them here, especially if you come from that kind of realm. You function in the same way here. So it's a bit more harder for you. So because you feel everything, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to create boundaries between you and the energy of the others, and it's hard sometimes to know what is not you, what is not yours. So especially if it binds to something that it's similar, that it's yours, and it's similar to somebody else's or same, maybe having the same pain like somebody. So yeah, that creates a lot of confusion, and it's hard to be transparent because that's the game we created for ourselves, and now we have to change the game and go to the higher planes where it's not, where things are lighter, where energy is lighter, where everything else needs to be cleared so this new energy can come in. Like in a crystal, you have to clear it once in a while so that it projects more light. It contains more light and it projects out more light rather than absorb it. And these energies, earthly energies, that what's happening with the earth, are pushing us to do this because we are connecting to our souls. And when we connect to our souls and the energy within our soul, we have to clear the places where we have disconnected from it, and the places where we are not transparent, when we're not translucent, are the places where we are susceptible to manipulation from other people, from other beings, from other energies, from whatever. And we allowed it to them because we sort of agreed to it by closing our eyes to the things that we're not transparent to, by not being transparent ourselves. So it's kind of the question, where do we fall from grace? It can be just as simple as pretending not to notice something. It's like, I do that all the time because I sometimes don't know what to do with it. And then if you express it and you have difficulties, and then everybody else is doing the same thing, and by it we kind of agree, you go along with it and you support it, because it's a unspoken agreement to allow it. Also, you're not expressing yourself properly when you're not transparent, because you're not expressing your soul properly, you're not expressing your heart properly. And within your soul there are a whole lot of things that need to be expressed, that want to be expressed. And this new energy, I mean, you might be connecting to some of your gifts and talents that maybe you've always knew you had. Maybe you haven't been expressing them. Maybe you expressed them as a child, and maybe they've been hidden, they've been latent because it was not time for them, but they have always been in your soul. And now when we're speaking about that, we're speaking about your divine power, because once you connect with your soul, your divine spark, with the divine in you, you connect to your divine power. And there's nothing wrong in having power and having gifts that express in different ways with everybody. I mean, I've had a group session where I asked people who worked with the archetypes of the divine that they connect to. So I asked where do they connect with the divine, and most of them told me that they connect to through the hands. Some through the heart, some through their mind, because their minds can be used as feathers for writing messages and sending out messages with their channels. Or maybe they're writers or poets, or they're just some spiritual messages. But mainly people told me that they connect through hands. And if somebody tells you that there's something wrong in having powers, that's manipulative too. But yeah, there is something wrong in it being abused, and usually where we all fall from grace is in abusing power. And we have all done it in the past, because we have to function in this reality, in this system that we all created for ourselves. That involves certain energy exchanges and financial systems and educational systems and all sorts of kind of systems. We already spoke about that. So we all have this collective agreements or individual agreements with each other. And I don't know what's going on in the back, but there's something on that. So we kind of step down a notch to be able to function, or maybe we think we grew a lot and we mean a lot when we are something special, when everybody is actually something special. No soul is bigger than another soul in the universe. Every soul is unique, every soul is free, and every soul is divine, and there's nobody who is not. And that's one of the lies that we tell to ourselves when we think we're something bigger than somebody else, because we have certain powers, and then we rob other people from their own power instead of connecting them to their own birthright, to their own divine power. We allow them to think, or mislead them to think that we are their channel to the divine, when we should be empowering them to become their own channel. And that's what's been going on a lot lately, and that's what's been going on since forever. And that's what people do. Those are people's games and ego games, and this is what humanity does to themselves and to each other. And this is one of the things that we most of kind of get attached to. We get attached to many things, and we slave away to many things. But the last step when we come is when we connect to our soul, and then we gain this powers, abilities, seeds, whatever you want to call them, because we all have them. And then we think that this is it. No, this is not it. This is not it. It's about the creation. This is Why is this connected to the light language? Because when you receive these symbols and these codes, they are for creation purposes. And they are not to be abused and misused, because everything comes back in a full circle. Maybe not now, but maybe in another point, in another lifetime, whatever, whenever. But it does. It comes back full circle. Sometimes it has a little twist in it, or a twist, a plot twist. Yeah, because we create those plot twists to, make it a bit more whatever. But yeah, in my own session, I've had this vision of hands, my own hands. With this is why I have these here, these bracelets, but they're basically cuffs, because I saw my hands a lot bigger, very big hands, and they had these golden cuffs, a little bit bigger than these, but they were, covered. My hands were covered in these golden cuffs, and my hands created energy vortex, a galaxy. That was a galaxy, and I created a galaxy, and I light it up. And that was my connection to the divine through the creation and using energy for creation. And this is what that language is also for. And this is why I explained that it goes directly to your subconscious and bypasses the mental mind and goes directly into your DNA and changes you. Create changes where it needs to create changes, and you absorb it and receive it in the way you should absorb it and receive it. And it's very needed lately. I guess this is why I was pushed to do it, to speak it, because it's needed, yeah, to instigate change and to create space for change that we're all undergoing. And this is why I do it. And there is no other reason. And yeah, when I say that those are cups, I basically literally saw myself doing this. And I'm not doing this to create a show and to create, I'm doing it to empower you to receive, and to empower you to connect to your own divine powers, to the divine inside of you, and to instigate you to think, where is divine in your life? Where do you connect to the divine? With your energy, with your body? How do you connect to your soul? And where is the disconnect in your life with your soul? Because this is also where your divine power lies. And to instigate you to think, what do you slave away to? What have you given your power to, and to get it back? Or maybe whom? Just get it back. Because it is possible. This is everything that happens in the session, and this is everything that I do, and this is everything I've been talking so far. So it's your divine power. And think about it. I've been thinking a lot lately, where is God in all this? Because my channel is so sensitive. I'm so sensitive to energies that I mostly feel heavy energies, and in dreams I read those energies, and I mostly sense it more than anything else. And I come from a place where everything is lighter and brighter and translucent and transparent, and I seek transparency in my relationships and things. And I haven't been always transparent, but I try to. I do my best, but everything that I have been doing, before I was doing this, requires transparency, and I have this as a standard for my own self, and this is why I work a lot on myself. But this is hard. It's hard. But do think about that. What is it that you give away your life to? What are you slaving? where you're not free? Where is your power tied to? And where is God in your life, in your relationships? And how can you bring more of Him? Because we're all hungry for God. This is what we all do. This is what all of this is happening. These changes are happening because we're all hungry for God. So yeah, these are my 2 cents for support, my cup of tea of support for whatever's been going on right now. And the energies have been crazy. They've been good. It's good. But they instigate a lot in us, and a lot of clearing up is happening around us, and a lot is more to come. So yeah, we are all going to be needing to focus on the divine in our lives more than we have been so far. I've been having these dreams since I've been very young, and I have these dreams where I eat crystals. And when I ask, I mean, I sometimes know that I'm in the earth, deep down in the earth, as if I'm in her womb, and I eat crystals. And sometimes it's just I see a crystal and I eat it like a candy. And I feel great after that. I feel very energized. And I asked a friend of mine, this woman that I've been mentioning in some of my videos, why? Why do I have these dreams? And she told me that you're hungry for God. Because crystals are condensed light. They're manifested, materialized light. And in another dimension, this is what I am and what I live on. So yeah, I go home and I feed myself with light. And this is what we all should do now. Feed on light. And bring divine more in our own lives and existence in this reality. So I'm just checking to see if I need to do language transmission now. I'm having chanting in the back. I don't know if you can hear it, but I hear it. I don't know if it's gonna be on the video. So anyways, yeah, I don't need this guy now because I have these. I just need a moment to connect. Yanakayate Kanakatean to Anayatan Nakayan to Kanayatan Shian Nakayan to In Nakayatu Kanayatan Yaka. This is a transmission to connect so Kanakiato Tana Shutana Kateana Iahan Nakatia to Anakiana Tia Tana Shutana. Even if you cannot see, just hold the thought that you're receiving fire codes and fire letters, divine letters, and divine codes into your space and into your energy. And Yakanatuba Wanakatiyanakaya Ishkanatunakea Inwakanakea Naanwakea. And Nakaya Kana Wakataya Yeah, I forgot to mention that these violators that I've been seeing are basically two snakes. They're creating them, and how I see it is they're round and spiral, and the symbols that they make, that they create around, basically round spirals and infinity symbols and symbols like that. They can be different, can be more square and more like lines with lines and dots, and more geometrical shapes. But this means that with my language, this dimension that I come from, it has more. It's more round, more circles, more spirals, and more. Not just two snakes fighting. Thank you for today.